Cutswork TV.
Tara, 007. Choose your spot, honey. Hi. All right, take a seat. Take a seat. Take a seat.
Hey, mama. Okay, these chairs are not made for hips.
Right. Note to the technicians. Demure, honey, demure.
Oh no, it's fine. It's fine.
Yes, it's better. Yeah.
I'll be okay. No, I'll be okay. I'll be okay.
She will be all right. Next up to the stage, I would like to welcome Ivy, Tropical Ivy, Saint Laurent. Demore, honey. Yes. Yes. You need to unmute your microphone. Thank you. Our last special guest, all the way from the USA, Tabytha Margiela. So the name of the panel is Ballroom and Beyond, because we're also here to talk about what happens outside of ballroom, or the outreach of ballroom, outside of the dance floor, outside of the ball. So as first, could you please shortly introduce yourself? Who are you in ballroom? Who are you outside of ballroom?
Me. Okay. So my name is Tara. I am inside of ballroom. I'm a commentator. I walk body. I am, an organizer as well. So that's what I do inside of ballroom, and I guess outside of ballroom, that's also organizing for ballroom events and other cultural events that are mainly focused on different marginalizations and the intersections of those. So that's what I do.
And I heard you're starting to DJ.
Maybe.
We heard it through the grapevine. Yes. Come on, a little intersection here. Amazing. Thank you very much.
Yes, I'll go next. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to Georgina and everyone that took part in organizing this and putting this together, so thank you. I'm Tabytha Gonzalez Mason Margiela. I am a leader in the House of Mason Margiela. We have created the Margiela Matters Initiative, which services Black and Brown LGBTQ people in New York City. I've been walking ballroom since 1995. Hello. Look good. So I'm actually 50 years old. So let's try that again. When I say 50, you say. So I'm actually 50 years old.
What?
She's lying.
Never.
That's better. Yeah, so my category is realness. I am Femme Queen Executive Realness of the Year 2022. So I'm looking to move into other categories. As you can see, body is up and coming. What I do outside of ballroom, I am a human rights specialist for the New York City Commission on Human Rights. And I am an international leader and activist for LGBTQ diverse communities and gender expansive, predominantly Black and brown trans women. And I have been one of the ones who are in the lead, doing a lot of the groundwork. I'm also featured in the Emmy-nominated documentary titled The Stroll on HBO. And I have a crazy Femme Queen podcast called Femme Queen Crazy, Sexy, Cool. So,
check it out on YouTube, guys.
Hi everybody. My name is Tropical Ivy Laveau Saint Laurent. I am the mother of the Swiss chapter of the House of Laveau. That was just like we turned Laveau this year. entering the Kiki house with this name was also huge for me, for my kids. I'm also part of the House of Saint Laurent. Hello. Product placement. Yeah, I'm also part of the House of Saint Laurent. With that regard, thank you again so much, Mother and Lichi. I love you forever. Give it up for Lichi, y'all. Yeah. But outside of ballroom, I am a performer for theater performer, dance performer. I do drags. I am an activist as well. I was the founder of the Trans Safety Emergency Fund, which helps trans people in need internationally. I'm a community leader, a choreographer, and all of the yada yada yada. Sex work also have been on the table for a minute, but it's also like just added to my skills. I feel nowadays,
Sex work is
as you
work.
can see how I dress, probably. But yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the introduction. I'm Georgina, aka legendary Mother Leo Saint Laurent. As you have heard, or as I want to say again, this organization, first of all, thank you to Ruhe Trinale for inviting us here, for making all of this possible. A big thank you to Lichi Saint Laurent. Please stand up. Please stand up. Yes. She has been also producing this festival. It's our festival, but we'll make it one. No, but producing this weekend. So thank you very much, Lichi. I appreciate it. First question is for you, Tara. Yes. So Tara is also here to represent the local. Oh, one note. You hear like these voices in the background? There is, yeah. So wie viele Personen nehmen denn Anspruch von dieser Übersetzung? Eine Person? Mhm.
I'm not sure, but so far
Sonst überlege ich vielleicht, ob ich einfach zwischenübersetze. Yeah. So just so you know, there's a simultaneous translation in German. That's the voices. Und wir haben jetzt entschieden, dass ich dann zwischenübersetze und dass das dann leichter zu verstehen ist, glaube ich, auf beiden Sprachen. Vielen Dank für die simultane Übersetzung dort oben. Yes. We have to say, usually they have like a cabin that is outside of the room, so we would not hear them, but due to technical issues, that's what it was today. Das heißt, vielen Dank, wir brauchen die Übersetzung ab jetzt nicht mehr. Thank you very much, translation. Ich fange dann mal in Deutsch an. Miriam, Terror, 007, aka Miriam. Terror. Ja. Ist hier, um auch NRW zu vertreten. Sie ist Teil eines Kollektivs, das sich Shapes and Shades nennt. Auch Teil eines Kollektivs Schwarzer Haus Düsseldorf. Ja, hab ich richtig gesagt. Und die erste Frage wäre genau das, als schwarze Person in NRW und deine Arbeit, warum hast du dich diesen zwei Initiativen gewidmet? Weil es ja beides auch um BIPOC und marginalisierte Personen sich zentriert. Ich werde kurz übersetzen, dann kannst du überlegen.
Ich kann auch die Frage übersetzen.
You do it yourself, but
So the question,
she's gonna translate herself.
we're just gonna, weave it in. The question was why I chose to be a part of the two collectives that I helped initiate, which are Schwarzes Haus, which is Black House, Düsseldorf, like we're only in Düsseldorf, but yeah, basically, and Shapes and Shades Ballroom Collective, that was also initiated in Düsseldorf. And to me, it was basically, I wanted to see more Black art. I wanted to see more Black artists. I wanted to see more people like me represented. And I think the idea came in a moment that was where we were trying to find connections. Because the hard part in Germany is there are so many of us, but we're always in our small little bubbles. So we don't always connect, we don't always find each other. And we were trying to create a space where it was like, of course I know this person because I've met them at this event, I've met them here, I've met them there, and then it wouldn't be hard for us to connect with each other. And when one of us gets a chance to do a project, it wouldn't be like a big, oh my God, where are the people even? Or now I have to prove that there are Black artists who can play these roles. We already know each other. And we can just say this, and this person, I'm getting money for this, and this, and that's how I'm paying these people, and they deserve to be paid, and that's it. So there was this idea of we needed a space where we can also see each other and find out how did you even get here. So we, like when I was growing up, I didn't have that many people where I knew like, oh, this is how they became who they are. So I can be that too, you know? So that is why it was important. And Shapes and Shades was afterwards. We had like a great opportunity because there was like a diversity manager at the local theater in Düsseldorf, and he was interested in creating spaces for different marginalized people. And so we got the little stage in the theater for our events, and then it expanded into a collaboration for Shapes and Shades, which was supposed to be a ball at first, but then the pandemic hit, so we were like, but it's still important. We have a lot of discussions and interesting topics and workshops and all of that. So we started doing events where we talked about the history of certain parts of ballroom or the history of ballroom in general. And I just had the luck to meet people who are also interested in that, and through the German Mother Laveau, which is Mandla, I met Zoe L. And so that is how it started. And she brought on Bree, she brought on Ray. I brought some people from the Black House Collective, and it just became this, driving force because everyone was looking for this connection. It was obviously something that we wanted but didn't have a space for. And having a collective means you can get money, you can get that space, you can meet the right people, you can make these connections and make sure that the community is well fed. And that is what is most important to us till this day, that we keep the conversation going, that the community has a space and that we can just be together. Yeah.
Very well said, especially the part about the collective, that together we can achieve so much more than like alone.
Yeah.
Do you want to translate yourself into German?
Yeah, I can do like a quick translation. Genau, also wir haben im Grunde diese zwei Kollektive gegründet aus mehreren Gründen, und zwar wollten wir uns einfach sehen. Wir wollten Menschen sehen, die so aussehen wie wir wollten Menschen, die ähnliche Erfahrungen machen wie wir, und wir wollten einfach einen Ort haben, wo wir zusammenkommen können, wo wir uns austauschen können, wo wir einfach auch herausfinden können, wie sind wir überhaupt an diese, also wie wird man Künstlerin, wie wird man Schauspielerin, wie wird man Musikerin, wie wird das eine Karriere, also wie macht man das überhaupt? Und das waren so die Orte, um sich auszutauschen, und dann hatten wir Glück, am Düsseldorfer Schauspielhaus die Unterhausbühne zu bekommen und haben da dann unsere ersten Treffen gemacht. Und das hat total angeklungen, und dann in dem Zuge ist dann auch später das Shapes and Shades Kollektiv entstanden, was halt spezifisch ein Ballroom-Kollektiv ist. Und erst war die Idee tatsächlich einen Ball zu hosten. Das ging dann wegen der Pandemie nicht, und dann haben wir uns dazu entschieden, halt weiter Bildungsprogramm zu machen, uns mit der Geschichte von Ballroom auseinanderzusetzen. Und so hat sich das halt in etwas verwandelt, was community-bildend ist. Genau.
Ja, danke für die Übersetzung. Yes. My next question would be for Ivy. I think similar to Tara. You are, and additionally, you're like a foreigner. You're like in Switzerland. Yeah, a person of color, a trans non-binary person of color. And I think also your work, I see a lot of community. I see a lot of longing for space, for safety, creating that safety. And I think the Trans Safety Emergency Fund is what I would like to know. What was like the initiative of the collective, like in you, in there to do this initiative. Yeah, and how that also connects with Ballroom, but also beyond Ballroom, I guess, in a way.
So the Trans Safety Emergency Fund came from the need of helping to trans women that came to Zurich and were on the streets. And one of my daughters just started talking to them, and then called me, called the other parent, and it's like, we need to do something. And I was like, absolutely right, we need to do something. So we just started sharing on Instagram, like, hey, there's two trans women of color on streets, and we need to put them somewhere until they are safe to keep traveling or find a space here. I don't know, this just cannot be like this. We got some good money. We could help them. Through connections, we could give them some per diems, like connect them with the alternatives team, where they could stay for a while, with the money we even were giving them like some allowances through the month, so they could sustain themselves. And then, I don't know who had that idea, but somebody said, why don't we do a fund? And I was like, yes! Well, who was it? Was it you?
No.
I'm still looking for the responsible for that, because
I think it was we couldn't keep we couldn't keep sending people money without having the legal documents.
Exactly, because Switzerland it's a bitch with bureaucracy, so we couldn't just gather money and give money. It's so fucked up that the system really makes us legalize even helping people. It's fucked up. They really need to trace everything that we do with our money. In any case, we opened a fund, and I was taking very lightly the amount of work that it needs for you to help people, for you to establish a system where people would feel safe to be helped. Where you can have accountability of everybody who is there, but the person who has been helped, and so on. Not to get yourself emotionally twisted with that, separate yourself. The administration of all of that, I was like, whoa. But I have the luck that I had my house with me. And so the Trans Safety Emergency Fund grew out of the House of Poderosa, now House of Lavaux, and it was quite impactful for the scene, because we are the Trailblazer house in the area, people know me as well, because I didn't say, but I'm the Trailblazer from that area in Switzerland, and people knew me, and then this connected so much with the house that people were sending us requests, sending us cases, talking to the house account, to me, to Sun, to her, which is the godmother of the House of Lavaux. Give it up for Hausfrau. And I was like, yeah, it's only right that we do this fund, but it was a hustle. But now, also thankful to Sun, to Father Elio, Transmask, the father of the house. He's so good in really organizing everything. He's a proper Swiss person. So he said, you are the heart. No, he didn't say it. It was always like this since the beginning. He is the brains and I'm the heart, and then we work, And she's the body, because look at the body. So that worked, and today TSEF is an institution. It's still very like grassroots, because it's not a lot of people working, and we still have to outsource many things, but we managed to get sponsors that believe in us. We managed to get the message across. We managed to build bridges with people that can say, okay, the CEF is doing something. We have managed to do 2 very wonderful galas, to gather money for the cause, which the House of Saint Laurent was also there to perform the last time. So that's how we started, and that's where we are. And it's coming from Ballroom, and I'm always happy whenever we have the chance to connect the CEF with Ballroom causes, and promote it within Ballroom. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. By the way, there's a book out called Trance on Trance. More about that. So check it out. And Ivy, do you want to translate yourself with Swiss German?
Oh.
Are we that international?
Los geht's.
Nur Zusammenfassung.
Also ich kann auch Deutsch, aber ich weiß nicht, ob ich kann wirklich die ganze Message jetzt übersetzen.
Ja.
Kannst du das machen?
Ja, sure.
Ja, danke.
Das kann ich auch. Of course. Also der Trans Safety Emergency Fund, übersetzt ist das Trans Emergency Notfall Fund, Hilfe Fund. Ja. Auf jeden Fall, die Grundidee ist es, oder geboren war es, das Kiki House of Ponderosa, was jetzt das Kiki House of Laurent ist. Einer der Kids kam zu Ivy und hat gesagt, hey, es sind sehr viele Transmenschen auf der Straße, wie können wir denen helfen, wie können wir das connecten? Und so hat das angefangen, dass zum Glück über Connections und über Verbindungen und sehr viel harte Arbeit sie wirklich auch Geld auftreiben konnten, sehr viel Hilfe leisten konnten. Und dann irgendwann mal der Punkt kam, ja, wir können das nicht inoffiziell machen, weil Bürokratie und selbst um Leuten zu helfen, braucht man irgendwie Belege und einen Verein. Also haben sie daraus einen Verein gegründet, der jetzt noch in einer sehr Grassroots-Phase ist. Ich war selber auch bei einer Gala, eine wunderschöne Gala, überhaupt das in so einem Kontext zu sehen. Just say how amazing the Gala was. War echt super. Und das war so die Grundidee, warum das gegründet ist und wie es gegründet wurde, wirklich in dem Haus, mit den House-Members, mit Hausfrau Ponderosa, mit dem Vater von dem Haus, der wirklich die ganze Bürokratie auch regeln konnte. Also es zeigt auch, man braucht auch Leute, die das verstehen. Und wie Künstler meistens so sind, ist das nicht immer unsere Stärke. Aber es ist ein super, super Beispiel von wirklich einer Initiative, die von Herzenswunsch gestartet ist und sich manifestiert hat in einer Struktur und so auch überleben kann und auch helfen kann. Also Glückwunsch euch auch noch.
Ja,
Drama. Tabytha, hi. So there's so much to say about you, your journey, but I think I would really like to see the work that you do in the system, that you are the bridge between the actual people and knowing what the needs are, but then also being on the other side, this is how you need to structure it, this is what you need to do, and to be so successful that you're just hired and booked in such great agencies. And I think for Germany that would be great to have this connection to actual agencies, because we don't really. Most of the events we do are either in commercial spaces or in theater events and dance events. But we're not connected to social work, social organizations. So I think it would be nice to just, and even I know it's a lot, but maybe just to pinpoint 1 or 2 examples that you think would that maybe are also important to you, were impactful to you.
Oh, I'm so sorry. One Nathaniel, I love you. That's just like the New York mothers to break up a conversation. She knew her cue. Wow. First, I'm just like hearing both of your stories is so inspiring, and I'm going to put one key part. You are right, collective is the way to do it. For me to do the work that I've been able to do is like an anomaly. But I sit here before you, a 50-year-old black trans woman, former substance abuse user, former sex worker for many years. I was incarcerated for 14 years just for sex work. So when I tell you that being within community and having the shared experience of seeing the need, but not only seeing the need, but experiencing what it is to need those things, is what fueled my work. We get caught in these poverty mindsets where we think that it can only be one. It can only be me. I'm the first. And I got so tired of hearing, I'm the first. I was the first one to do this. And I was the first. Okay, so if you were the first one, who was the second and who was the third? Because that's how it's supposed to look. So I started to see that. And I'm like, we can't live like this. I did not believe that we were broken people. I understood that we were fractured. I understood that we needed to heal. And collective healing and joining a collective of people who have the same mindset will get you a lot further. So when I came home, I saw all of my friends who were doing social justice work. And I began to mobilize with the late, great Cecilia Gentili, who's my mentor. And she kind of showed me. I remember the first day we were on the pier in Christopher Street, and she gave me a microphone. And I was like, what do I say? And she said, open your mouth, just speak. And I did. And the whole room was on fire. And I was like, oh, okay. This is cute, right? And normally when I do settings like this, I'm normally in a circle, right? So I just want to be clear with that. Like, a circle leaves us vulnerable to each other. I don't want you to feel that because I'm up here, I could be sitting right there. I am $1 away from poverty. And don't think that because you see me glamorous that I've somehow reached some level of success. I just know how to get that bag. Okay? So my father, Sean Coleman Ebony, took my resume and he gave it to this agency. And he said, she's gonna work and she's gonna grow. And it was a white trans woman who hired me at the law firm. Here I am, a former junkie, sex worker, no college degree. I'm like, well, how am I gonna do this job? And she said, you're gonna learn how to do it. And I started to take free classes and started to educate myself. And I realized, I fucking love education. I love learning new things. And I continued to do the work, and I ended up working in a lot of grassroots organizations, giving service to community. And I knew that this couldn't just be that. This isn't just, in order for us to get into those spaces who we think are the people who can liberate us, we start to go into those spaces and work with those people and tell them how to do it. So when I applied for the role to work with the mayor, I said, I'm not gonna get this one. They gave it to me. They should have never gave it to me. So I started to do more work, to me sitting across the table from John Legend talking about the importance of like having families go home to their families, like pre-trial freedom, and making sure that if you commit a crime, if it's a small crime, that you're not penalized and taken away from your family because you were trying to survive. So Cecilia started an organization called Trans Equity Coalition, which is now the Trans Equity Fund. And we were able to raise $1.8 million for trans discretionary funding. And that was a huge accomplishment. So from there, the mayor started, like people started to notice, you never know who's watching. I never knew that I would be sitting in Germany having a conversation about the importance of activism, ballroom culture, and mobilization. And I'm gonna go to Ballroom because I am Ballroom. So it wasn't a thing about having to blend it together. Ballroom was already built out of resistance against white supremacy. So we were already doing activism just by creating Ballroom. So you being here is an act of resistance. Do you know that? You sitting in this seat, you are advocating for more spaces. And that's how you do it, coming together. So while I have this fancy job and I can do all those great things, it took a lot of work. I know what my community needs, and I'm gonna make sure that they know what my community needs, and we're gonna get money, and we're gonna thrive, and we're gonna heal, and we're gonna put on a ball, and we're gonna show you the magic of our community and who we are. And those little things that you see coming down your TV screens that tell you that you are not supposed to exist, that is a lie. You can be trans, non-binary, gender non-conforming. You can be whoever you desire yourself to be. And as beautiful or as handsome or as whatever you want to be. And no one has the permission to tell you that you're not. But someone said something to me at the table that resonated. But when you come into someone else's house, you behave correctly. So as inclusive as we are in this activism work, we must prioritize our people first and never be afraid to do that. Black and brown queer folk must take space. Black and brown queer folk must be uplifted because no matter our struggles, it is not the same. And that is not to say, oh, you're not a part of it. You sitting in these seats are a part of it. You are helping to shape minds and change the trajectory of what humanity can look like. And that's what we're doing. So this work that we do is so important. Why would someone want to organize this? Because she understands the importance. So when you have those people in your communities, you lift them up. Because those are your voices. They also know the need. They also know the importance. And they also know the access. With access comes responsibility. Don't think because you're the it girl that you don't have to know what the sacrifice is and know your role. So once you go on to create your agencies and you move on from here, because there's going to be someone who's going to need you. There's going to be someone from your community who's going to look up to you and want to be just like you. So make sure that you're leading with kindness, you're leading with love, and you're making sure that you're giving back to your community because that's what's important. Does that make sense? So I can tell you so much about my journey, but I don't want to take up a lot of space because I'm here with other fabulous activists. But activism is a birthright of Ballroom. Use your voices, and if you can't, dance the fuck till you drop and you show them. And you hit that runway and you show them. And before I move on from Ballroom just a little bit, a chop does not validate you. A loss does not validate you. It makes you better. Because what happens is when you go for that job and they tell you no, that doesn't validate you. You go and get another job and you come back. So Ballroom gives you the skin that you need to survive in this world who say we shouldn't. And that is the heart of Ballroom. It's our resistance. That's it.
Ich werde nicht alles übersetzen können, aber es waren sehr viele wichtige, also angefangen, also ihre Position und ihr Job ist eine Anomalie, oder das ist nicht normal, ja. Eine 50-jährige schwarze Transfrau, die Sexwork gemacht hat, die ein Drogenproblem hatte, die 14 Jahre im Gefängnis war wegen Sexwork und jetzt aber in dieser Position ist, wo sie ist, dass sie für den New York Bürgermeister arbeitet, ja. Das ist was Besonderes. Und dafür auch nochmal eine Runde Applaus. Und da sie diese Vergangenheit hat, weiß sie natürlich auch, was die Community braucht. was die Community nicht hat, welche Zugänge sie nicht hat. Und deswegen ist es auch leicht oder natürlich, das in ihre Arbeit einfließen zu lassen mit Ballroom, weil Ballroom war schon immer da. Ballroom ist geboren aus einem Widerstand. Ballroom ist aktivistisch, jeder in Ballroom vererbt quasi dieses aktivistische Recht und deswegen müssen wir unsere Stimmen benutzen, sei es auf dem Runway, sei es in anderen Orten und dass das super wichtig ist, schwarze Leute zu upliften, schwarze Queere, schwarze Transmenschen Visibilität zu geben und dass wir das als Gemeinschaft auch tun, als Ballroom auch tun. Ich glaube, das war, glaube ich, so das Wichtigste. So much, Tabytha, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Wow. Sorry. Goosebumps. Yeah. Hi, new arrivals. Tara, I'm gonna bounce back to you. Because Tabytha, you were also saying like people organize spaces because they know the needs, but they also know the access or might have the access, but also have to deal with what comes with access, which is structure, which is usually bureaucracy, which is usually people that don't look like you, people that don't understand you, that don't understand your culture, but want to give you space, want to give you resources. So how do you deal like with this conflict of, like you said, Tabytha, we have to be in these spaces, right? And tell them how it's done, but that's also a lot of like mental work.
Yes.
So maybe Tara, you could like, elaborate a bit on that of your experiences in Germany about that.
Working with institutions. It is complicated because you find yourself often being the only Black person in a room, especially in a country like Germany. And so you're, even if the topic is not on Blackness, not on being queer, not on being fat, there are just casual remarks or just casually in these minds of people who aren't marginalized or not marginalized in this specific way. We are erased. There's no thought for our needs or what we desire, and there's no space. Like even bringing it up is opening a new space, you know. Ooh. No, you're fine. You're fine. And it is always a discussion, and somehow you're made a metaphor. You're not a colleague or someone who has like a connection to the person you're talking to. Suddenly you're advocating in every single way for people who share your experiences in life. And so these conversations are always underlying the organizational process. So you have to explain every single thing. You have to, because they have their way of working. An institution will, and in Germany specifically, they have their bureaucracy, they have their time plans, they have all of that, and what can something cost and all of that. And then you have to come in and explain, this is not gonna work that way. We can't adhere to your schedule because we don't have the freedoms that your artists usually have. We don't have, there's no guaranteed next gig for the artists we are inviting. We are creating a space, we are creating maybe the rent money for this month, you know what I mean? It's not the same. There are not these privileges that your artists usually have. And so to explain that and to make sure, like, yes, we might be late, but in return, you can't be. You still have to keep to your schedule when it comes to payment, when it comes to making sure what the contracts are. And so it's always basically also giving a workshop on racial sensitivity and like sensitivity towards trans issues, towards queer issues, and just, you know, understanding that we do not have the basic privileges, the time, the space, the mental space that you have When you turn up here with your coffee and, you know, you're kikiing up, we're trying to create a fun space, sure, and that's gonna be a fun night for you, but it's also how we live. Yeah.
Magst du dich auch übersetzen?
Kann ich auch machen. Also mit deutschen Institutionen zusammenzuarbeiten ist immer ziemlich kompliziert, weil man erstmal erklären muss, von welchem Standpunkt man sozusagen aus arbeitet. Also es fehlt komplett das Verständnis für die finanziellen Umstände, für die sozialen Umstände, einfach wie unser Leben funktioniert. Dass wir nicht die gleichen Privilegien haben, dass wir nicht einfach auftauchen können, dass wir nicht schon ein riesiges Schedule haben und in den nächsten, wenn ich jetzt vor allem im Kontext mit Theatern oder Museen arbeiten denke, dass wir nicht schon die nächsten 3 anderen Verträge unterschrieben haben und jetzt noch irgendwie gucken müssen, wie das passt, sondern für manche Leute ist es das Einzige, was sie diesen Monat machen oder das Einzige, was die nächsten 2 Monate kommt und sonst müssen sie ihren Minijob möglicherweise machen oder gucken, ob sie überhaupt einen Minijob bekommen, weil total viele Menschen halt weder eingebürgert sind, noch lang genug hier sind, dass es einfach, dass die finanziellen Umstände so funktionieren, wie es für einen Gastvertrag oder eine Gastschauspielerin ist. Und dieses Verständnis, Menschen einzubläuen, die überhaupt nicht darüber nachdenken würden, für die das überhaupt kein Gedanke ist, die schon in ihren Bahnen fahren sozusagen, ist immer eine komplizierte Sache. Und das gehört halt auch zu den Aufgaben, die man hat, wenn man organisiert.
Ich glaube, du hast in Englisch schon gesagt, dass man gibt immer so, umsonst muss man dazu sagen, so einen Workshop über intersektionalen Rassismus oder intersektionale Arbeit, aber umsonst und auch auf Zeit, die ich eigentlich nicht habe und auf Ressourcen und Erfahrungen, die ich mir erarbeitet habe, aber auch umsonst, weil diese Arbeit nicht bezahlt wurde. Deswegen danke auch nochmal für die Zusammenfassung.
Danke für die Frage.
Hi. So your question is a bit more catered to ballroom and beyond, because that's the subject. You also, I think in ballroom, but also in our legacy of the house, represent something very important, I think, which is also a representation of non-binary bodies in ballroom. And you also wrote a manifesto about that. You also have started to create a format of a workshop or a conversation. You can elaborate more about that. But I think, yeah, it's important to know how these conversations, and just of you being in the space and advocating for that, is in ballroom, but it obviously goes beyond, right? Because the subject reaches so far. So that would be my question.
Okay, so I think like what we bring to the table is always, it starts with the little selfish self to say like, I want to live. It's not even selfish to say I want to live, but it becomes like, I want to succeed in something. I want to be important in something, right? And whenever I let's say like that, before ballroom, I didn't have a feeling of I never questioned who I was, my gender. I never really questioned. I was just accepted what people imprinted on me and expected me to do. And ballroom kind of opened up for me to think outside of the box, to think that, hold on, I am also a very pretty person, even if I'm more feminine, Like, I don't need to subject myself to what the patriarchal rules of a body that have born with the penis should be. I can be my own fantasy, like, but how much do I really want to go? Am I really also a trans woman? I'm definitely trans, it was like nobody teaches you what is trans, especially if it's on the gray zone, Like I have great examples of reaching the binary, you know, like Donna, you know, like she's my mother, and whoever knows Donna knows that she's a beautiful black trans woman, you know, trailblazing and bringing, you know, to the T what is ballroom from where I come from. It's a huge honor, and I always get emotional when I talk about her because she's so important for me. And I could have gone the same way, you know, but I am not like that. Maybe I will, you know, maybe I will. But right now, I feel like I'm living something so important, you know, like identifying myself as a non-binary person, and I can bring the message to my kids to say, like, listen, it's possible, you know, like the majority of the House of Lavo is done of non-binary, you know, people, you know, there is like, and they flew, they are like go from the trans feminine to the trans masc, you know, but we are here, and I'm just like, hey, I'm creating this space for you guys. I want to be safe for you out there, you know, because I can go, I can give my face, you know, to be hit. I don't care. I like to create conversations. If you know me, if whoever knows me knows that I love this. I love to talk. I love to create conversations, you know, meaningful conversations that we can connect on some points and find the best solution for everybody. Healthy discussions. And I wanted to create a healthy discussion around what is this gray zone? And why is it so complicated to create space for this gray zone type of bodies to exist in ballroom, you know? And I don't want and I never have ever came to any of my mentors, to any of my mothers, to any of my aunties in ballroom to say like, no, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do that. It's not about that. It's about, I'm very humbly asking for permission to be here together with you, you know? And that maybe through little touches we can create a space where everybody can be there, you know, and not be shunned away because they are not achieving something, you know. And I do understand that non-binarity and this gray zone have always existed. You know, it have always existed in ballroom. I'm not negating that this have existed, but if it has existed and now we can give a name, so why don't embrace this name? You know, and say like, yeah, just that's cool. Now we can talk with a name. Isn't that nice? You know, and for that I started writing things that resonated with me within this line of thought. And then when I thought, okay, this is good, I started sharing, you know, to other non-binary people that have lived within ballroom, to my mentors as well, to give me also trans leaders to give me also a perspective. What do you think, you know? But mostly I wanted the non-binary community to cater to build with me. It's a document that's still open. It's not mine, you know. And that's the beauty of it, that people come and they comment and they're like, yeah, for my scene it's different. This document was shared like 4,000 times, you know, like throughout the world, like people in Japan, in Australia, in Thailand, you know, in Spain, in Colombia, you know. It's really beautiful when I get to places and people say like, we know your manifesto. It has done really good for our community, for us to realize that it's okay to be like this, you know, however you are, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, and so I am just finishing the answer with this.
I think that was a great ending. Yeah. No. Yeah, and I think, like you said, it's about creating a conversation, right? And I think in ballroom terms, the main question that we might not have an answer to is like how to integrate it into the competition. Because as a person, I don't think anybody's going to be like, no, you can't be here because you're not, you know? But on the competition level, I think that's the point where discussions have to be held, and we need to, as a community, find ways. Yeah. Auf Deutsch. Ivy hat diese Konversation in Ballroom, weil Ballroom ist eine sehr binäre Kultur. Ja, und wie man daran teilnimmt, ist man entweder auf der femininen Seite oder auf der männlichen Seite, von welcher Energie man repräsentiert. Wenn ihr morgen kommt, werdet ihr das sehen. Und für non-binäre Personen ist es natürlich dann sehr schwer, in so einem Konstrukt einen Ort zu finden. Und genau um diese Konversation zu haben, um zu sagen, hey, es ist überhaupt möglich, ja, ich kann non-binär sein, ich kann non-binär auch im Ballroom sein. Und einfach zu fragen, können wir diese Konversation haben über diesen Graubereich, ja, zwischen den Binären, dieser Graubereich, können wir über das eine Konversation haben. Und er war schon immer da, geschichtlich gesehen, aber auch im Ballroom. Aber können wir diese Konversation über diese Graubereiche haben und wie können sie passieren? Und so ist dann dieses Manifest entstanden, wo sie geschrieben hat, was mit ihr resoniert. Hat das an andere Non-Binaries im Ballroom gegeben, an andere Transpersonen im Ballroom. Und dieses Manifest ist offen zugänglich. Es wurde oft geteilt, aber es ist offen. Es ist ein Prozess. Und ich glaube, das, was wir uns wünschen, dass für diesen Prozess auch Raum ist. Ja, thank you, Ivy. I have 2 more questions for you, actually.
Okay, let's get some more.
Great. Let's start with the ballroom one, since we're in the ballroom subject. You have the podcast of Femme Queen, Crazy, Sexy, Cool. And I've also been watching it, obviously, like many in ballroom. And I find it amazing, because you touch on so many subjects. So as somebody that has created the space and that is ongoing and curating the space, I would like to know, like, what was your main ambition when you started? And I think you're already in season 3, 4 now?
We're going on season 3.
Season 3, yes, going on season 3. So to know maybe what was the beginning as the starting point of it, and now going into the 3rd season and then looking into the future, like what is the vision, or what has it grown into, what did it might inspire also?
Oh my God, can somebody record this?
Yeah, it is right there.
Because this
She
is a
here.
great question. First and foremost, thank you for following and subscribing. So if you haven't, follow, click like, and subscribe to Femme Queen, Crazy, Sexy, Cool. I don't want to take the credit because this wasn't my idea. And she's going to hate me for saying that because she never wants to take credit like that. But Asia came up with this idea, me, her, and Temperance, and another young lady, Calypso Balmain. During the height of the COVID pandemic, we decided to have like a live, just us girls talking, and we called it Sister Circle. And it did really well, but we just felt like we weren't reaching the people that we needed to reach. And of course, we all got fatigued of just looking at these screens all day and trying to have conversation. It just didn't seem normal. We've missed the human connection. And the minute we came off, it's a little beat. We went a while without, talking. And then Asia moved to New York, and then so did Temperance. And she was like, let's go out to eat. Let's catch up. And we went to Brooklyn Steakhouse, and we were having, people come together over food, okay? So we were just eating and having a good time. And she said, we should film this. And I was like, hell yeah, we should. And we were just having the same conversations that we have on the couches. And our thing was we wanted for people to have an understanding that being trans is not linear. And a femme queen doesn't fit into your category of what you think we are. We're not just beauty, we are brains, and we are powerful women. And femme queen is not an identity, it is an energy. It is walking into a room and knowing that you're confident in who you are. And that's what being a femme queen is all about. You got the butch queens, they want to be femme queens too. You see? You have women who dress like femme queens, long lashes, 40 inches, body, and they do and they want to look like we are, and it's an energy that exists in everyone. But you just gotta be trans, but what I will say is this, it's a thing that we felt like people are always talking about us and having conversations about us without us being in the conversation. And they should look like this. they should do this. This is what we accept. We said, no, we're going to take that narrative back and we're going to invite you to come and we're going to tell you who we are. And we're going to have some of those uncomfortable conversations that you're having in your homes with your friends. And you're going to be able to sit down and talk with us and view us talking about these same situations because we're human. We're not some out of extraordinary experience. We're human. We go to work, we wake up, we eat, we sleep, we date, we love, we have children, we do everything our counterparts do. And all we want to do is provide for our families. We're no different than our cis heteronormative people. We're no different. And we felt the only way they would get that is by creating our own space. And she, of course, talked to Temptress, who is the Grisabella on Jellicle Cats right now on Broadway. Gotta shout that out. And Queen Mother, Margiela, founding mother, Margiela. Yes, I love my mom, you can see that, right? And once she said yes, I was all in. So, you know, like you said, you gotta have the brains and you gotta have the beauty. And I was like, we need to shop these agencies and see who would actually fund us and put us out there. And we went to Black Trans Feminine Arts, which is an organization that's designed to support Black and trans femme artists. So we went there and we met with Jordan B. And we just had a casual conversation and she was like, are you kidding me? Fuck yeah, let's do it. And we did it. And in the beginning, you know, we were all like, you know, how are we gonna show off? Like, what are we gonna say? And we had like this whole shitload of things that we thought that people needed to see. And we said, it's not about them, we're getting caught up in that. Let's make it about us. They're here to watch us. I'm not tailoring my show to fit your viewer needs. You need to sit with this and listen to us, and we're going to engage with you, we're going to subscribe to you, and we're going to answer those questions. And if you just listen to trans people, you might just get the answer to the questions that you already have. So it was our way of giving back to our girls, giving back to our femme queens, and letting us know that we don't have to be ostracized, we don't have to sit to the side anymore, that this whole ideology of hierarchy, yes you have parents, yes you have leaders, this whole gatekeeping syndrome about, well, they let them in and not me, and I have to do this to get to this point, we didn't do that. We didn't have no one say, I need you to endorse me in order for me to do this. You have to believe in yourself. I say this all the time, and you know, just hearing what you were both saying about, how many of you have heard of like this thing called sensitivity training? Where we're teaching others on our lives. Have you ever seen that? When they're like, well, you need to take a sensitivity training, but no one ever gave us a sensitivity training on how to do it with you. So we felt as though this is not a sensitivity training. This is just you looking into our world and getting to know who we are as women. Trans is just identifying a marker of who I am. There's a bunch of women in this room. There's a black woman, there's another brown woman, there's white women in the back, there's Asian Pacific women in the room, there's women from all over. But we all have something that sets us apart, and mine is just I'm a woman, but I'm trans, right? And to debunk those myths that we're not like you. Somehow we're different. No, we're not. Some of us even have sex changes. Yeah, you know, and that is a choice. When you said that about being non-binary, it's funny you say that because I feel like we need to invite you on for season 3. Because it starts with the conversation, and that's what our show is about. It's about having those hard conversations on a platform just like this, where people can engage with us and start to think about what that would look like, right? Because we do not want to be the oppressors oppressing our own, using the same systems that oppressed us. So we don't want to do that, but we also have the right and the divine right to be truly who we are. And I will tell you that that is a very tough conversation to have when you're trying to incorporate a space that has been steeped in a binary construct. So it takes a lot of dismantling and restructuring. No one would have thought that 3 femme queens would come together and be able to sit together and have conversations, because all they see on the floor is us competing against each other. So we had to teach them that is not all who we are. We can actually sit down and have a conversation around things that you're probably talking about too. You see what I'm saying? And that's how it came about. So yeah.
Thank you very much.
Did I say pussy? Vagina. I'm sorry.
Let's go.
Whatever. You get it, right?
Die Übersetzung Femme Queen, Crazy, Sexy, Cool ist ein YouTube-Podcast, der von 3 Transfrauen geleitet wird, alle 3 Koryphäen im amerikanischen Ballroom. Und die Besonderheit, oder wie die Show gestartet ist, die sind einfach essen gegangen und die meinen, hey, das sollten wir filmen. Und es war die Idee, einfach zu zeigen, es wird so viel über uns geredet als Transfrauen, aber irgendwie, wir sind nicht Teil dieser Konversation. Und es war also eine Initiative, diese Konversation wieder an sich zu reißen und zu sagen, wir haben einfach eine Konversation und ihr dürft zuhören. Wir werden gar nicht drüber nachdenken, was sollen wir jetzt erzählen, was sind die Fragen von den anderen. Nein, ihr kriegt einen Einblick, um zu zeigen, wir sind auch normal, wir haben normale Leben. Und vor allen Dingen im Ballroom sehen wir Transfrauen meistens eher in der Rolle von Competition, gegeneinander antreten als Rivalen. Und dass diese Show auch zeigen sollte, hey, wir können auch uns einfach hinsetzen und uns unterhalten. Das ist auch, wer wir sind. Und um das einfach wieder an sich zu eignen, das war so die Idee. Es geht jetzt in die 3. Season. Deswegen gerne auf YouTube gucken. Femme Queen oder FQ, abgekürzt manchmal, ja? Crazy? Sexy? Cool! Oh my God, it's so cool! Yeah.
That is so cool.
With me in one of the upcoming episodes.
With Laurent in the 3rd season.
I mean, no, because this season we are definitely open in the spectrum. Last season we had one transmasculine voice on there, so we're going to have an all transmasculine panel, and we're going to have an all non-binary panel, because I'm not going to say how you want to be here. I think you have to tell us that. And the only way we're going to have a real conversation is by inviting our non-binary community members into the room to have that conversation, because it is hard-pressed to put them inside categories that don't align with our understanding on what non-binary is. So I think it's only fair for us to give them space to talk about it, and then, you know, we can collectively figure out what that looks like.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have 10 minutes left, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's so hard. Yes, it is a rapid fire round. So the question is, how did Ballroom change your life the most?
I'll take it. Very quickly, and I'm going to take about a couple of minutes of this. It gave me the strength that I am today. Most of my family members are Ballroom, and those are not my biological family members. Right? When I say my father, I mean a transmasculine man who took me under his wing and raised me as his daughter. When I say a mom, I mean a trans woman who raised me up and taught me as her daughter. And I'm her daughter. So Ballroom has given me community, opportunity. I'm sitting here with you because of Ballroom. So Ballroom has changed my life profoundly. You're looking at a girl who was sitting on the other side of a jail cell writing letters to Oprah Winfrey and tearing it up. Because I just knew I was going to be able to tell my story one day. And I did. But it changed my life in so many ways that I can call on people outside of my structure. Now I'm meeting new Ballroom people, and this is going to change your lives, just being here. So this is changing my life. So Ballroom changed my life in so many ways, but giving me opportunities to meet other people, to advocate for those people, and to provide the necessary need for us to thrive as a community. And that's what Ballroom gives me. It gives me the skin to take the chop, to take the read, to look over my shoulder and say, okay, baby, that's cute. because that's what life is, right? It's not always daffodils and rainbows, we know that. But ballroom has given me the skin to continue and to be resistant.
Yeah, ballroom gave me, I think ballroom gave me discipline, you know, like, because to be a freelancer, first of all, discipline, because to be a freelancer, artist, performer, you have to have your own discipline, right? You have to be at it. But ballroom gave me this sense of belonging also to something bigger, you know, because I come from a family of very strong women, you know, and I felt cast out because it's like I was not born a woman. They consider myself so much, but I could never cross that line to say I belong to you, you know. And ballroom said like you can be whatever you want. You can be a powerful woman if you want, even if you are not a woman, a construct of a woman, what people expect. You can be that. Go, live, you know, tell your mother that. And I told my mom, and she treats me like a daughter, you know, and my nephew and everybody, and it's so magical, you know, like ballroom said like, what are you doing here? You had it all along. Do you want my permission? You know, like if ballroom was somebody talking to me, you want my permission to live? You have it, go. You know? And I walk proudly however I want to walk because of ballroom, you know? And this, I don't think no other force in this world could give me. You know, I'm a very spiritual person, but also my spirituality, it's so much connected with what ballroom is all about. So everything is aligned, you know, everything is aligned. My family is also, you know, like into the system of hierarchy and respect. I appreciate this so much, you know. I could not be outside there living in a world that I would not be respected. So for me, it was also important to be in ballroom and know that I'm building something beautiful with people and I can be respected for that. You know? Also giving the respect for others that have built, you know? So feeling part of this chain is something that I really wanted to feel, and ballroom gave me that. Yeah, that's what
So this is an interesting question. I've been thinking about that a lot in the last few weeks, and I think contrary to a lot of experiences, ballroom gave me a space to choose when I want to be seen. In a society like this, I don't have a choice. I'm always seen. I always take up space. I always am talked about in a way that I cannot control, and I don't need to control every opinion of that someone has about me, but it is also weirdly shared with me. Like, keep that to yourself. And so ballroom is the space where if I want to be a spectator, I can just be. I can just meet people, be like, hi, nice to see you. We're chilling, we're hanging out. And the moment that I feel that I want to be seen, ballroom embraces that as well. And I can step on the runway and be seen in a way that I want to be seen. And I think that is just special. I don't have that anywhere else. And I'm very grateful to the city for that.
It's the only place where we go where we could be celebrated for who we are. It's where we get to be our alter egos and we get to bring out the stuff and do what we want to do. But I challenge you to don't let ballroom stay on the floor. Carry ballroom in your heart. have that same courage and brevity to step out there and be your authentic selves every day. It takes a lot of courage. So I'm glad that you all feel that from Ballroom. Like, it's humbling to me, even sitting here. I think I did a video of a few people outside and I asked them, like, what does Ballroom mean to you? And I'm trying to not get choked up because I'm watching you cry right now. But Ballroom is so magical, and it is the only place who celebrates us and gives us a sense of belonging. No matter how divided you fall on that floor, carry Ballroom with you, because we are Ballroom, and we are a culture, and we are a community. Just respect Black trans women more. Thank you.
That was a beautiful ending. Thank you very much. The utmost applause for sharing. Chocolate Ivy, Laurent, Tabytha, Margiela, Terra,
Sexy,
Wait, before we leave, last commercial announcements. So, Trans on Trans from the Trans Safety Emergency Fund. Check it on Instagram. It's an amazing book. We're also giving some away tomorrow. Tabytha Margiela is in the Emmy Award nomination movie, The Stroll. Check out the documentary. If you're curating a festival, book it, show it, spread it. We watched it last night in the hotel room. It was just amazing. Yeah? Shapes and Shades has a ball coming up next week in Düsseldorf. Tell your friends. Be there if you can.
Be there or be square, guys.
And I think we're pretty much on time. My battery died on time. So thank you very much, guys, for being here. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you, Wilson-Nana, for technicians. Thank you, Donna, thank you, Dennis. Oh, and last announcement. Whose is this? Mine. Okay. Check.